Hi guys. Our last punctuation review that I'm doing this week is about apostrophes. Okay, so apostrophes are used for two reasons. First reason that we use apostrophes is when we make contractions. So a contraction is when you take two words and you push them together into one word and drop some letters. So like for example, if the word was can and not, we drop the N-O and we put in an apostrophe. Then the word becomes can't. Okay? The other reason we use apostrophes is to show ownership. So if something owns the next word. So for example, if this was Mr. Kimball's pen, we would say Mr. Kimball. And the pen that belongs to him, we would go apostrophe S, Mr. Kimball's pen. Right? There is one little trick with these ones when we're using possessive, when we're using belonging, and that's if it is a plural that ends in S. So if we were talking about the cat's house and there was 4 cats that own that house, then cats already has an S on the end of it. It's the cat's house. Right? Since the word cats, we're talking about many cats, already ends with an S, we just put an apostrophe at the end of it, right? We don't add another S after. Okay, so in the example I gave you guys, in the paragraph I gave you guys to edit, there are some missing apostrophes. So here's what the paragraph says. The paragraph says, bats are nocturnal animals. It's not that they can't be awake during the day, they just would rather be awake at night. A bat's eyes aren't very strong. It's his ears that are important. All bats' ears are very sensitive to sound. Another cool thing that bats do is send out signals. A bat's sound system includes the ability to send out sonar, which bounces off of objects and back to them. Very cool. All right, so here's where our mistakes are. So when we start off, the first sentence doesn't have any. Bats are nocturnal animals. It's the second sentence where we find the first one. It's not that they can't be awake during the day. The word can't is just that example I'd given you at the bottom here. It's the words can and not. You push them together and you drop the N-O from not, and we need to put an apostrophe where those missing letters are. So there's the first one. They'd rather be awake at night. Now, in the next sentence it says a bat's eyes. So these are the eyes that belong to a bat. So the word bat doesn't have an S at the end of it, so we put the apostrophe and then between the T and the S, right? A bat's eyes. The very next word is the word aren't, okay? And the word aren't is are not, okay? And then you drop the O in not. So we need to put an apostrophe where that missing O is. So there's our third mistake. A bat's eyes aren't very strong. It's his ears that are important. All bats' ears. So here's our next missing apostrophe, is this one here. It's the ears that belong to bats. Now, you can see this word all bats. So it's talking about not just one bat, it's talking about many bats, or all bats as far as that goes, right? So we're talking about bats. So the word bats ends with an S. So the little tricky thing here on this one is this apostrophe actually goes after the S, right? Because it's talking about all bats, and bats ends with an S. All bats' ears. Okay, so the ears that belong to all bats. All bats' ears are very sensitive to sound. Another cool thing that bats do is send out signals. A bat's sound system. Oh, here's our last missing apostrophe. And remember, this is talking about a bat and the sound system that belongs to a bat. So once again, bat does not end with an S, so we have to go apostrophe, then S. A bat's sound system. Includes the ability to send out sonar, which bounces off of objects and back to them. Very cool. There's our apostrophe mistakes, and it is very cool. Thanks, guys.